to get into what LeBron actually said when he responded and what it revealed. We're going to examine why this decision has taken longer than anyone in the league expected, which teams are genuinely still in the running right now, and what the most plugged-in insiders believe is ultimately going to determine where the greatest player in NBA history plays next. By the time we are done, you will have the complete story. So let's get into it. LeBron Raymond James is 41 years old, and he still does not have a ceiling. 22 All-Star selections, 4 NBA championships, 4 Finals MVP awards, the all-time leading scorer in league history, a player who by every logical measure of human biology and athletic decline should be winding down, but instead continues to put up numbers that embarrass players 15 years younger. During his final season with the Los Angeles Lakers, James averaged numbers that any 25-year-old would frame on a wall. His conditioning, his basketball IQ, his court vision, none of it has eroded. That is the thing that makes LeBron's free agency different from every other athlete's. When a star player hits his late 30s, the conversation becomes about legacy, about a farewell tour, about appreciating what he was. LeBron does not allow that conversation. He plays too well. He is still too dominant, too physically imposing, too intelligent as a basketball mind to be filed under nostalgia. Every championship caliber team in the league wants him because every championship caliber team in the league genuinely believes he can help them win right now. Not in a ceremonial sense, not in a bring him in and let him take a lap sense, in a real functional starting lineup closing games in the fourth quarter sense. That is who he is in 2026. That is why this free agency has consumed the sport. What eroded was his patience. After 8 seasons in Los Angeles without a second championship, LeBron made the call that reshaped the entire summer. He told the Lakers he was not coming back. The moment that news hit, the entire league went into emergency mode. Executives started making calls. Players started texting. Agents started positioning. And fans started doing what fans always do when LeBron James makes a move. They started imagining the impossible. Curry and LeBron. LeBron back in Cleveland. LeBron returning to Miami. LeBron in Philadelphia. Trusting the process alongside a roster that had just acquired Jaylen Brown. Every destination carried its own mythology, its own narrative arc, its own version of basketball history being rewritten. And every single one of those conversations was happening at full volume when Steve Kerr rolled his window down in Las Vegas. The moment itself was almost absurdly simple. Kerr had traveled to Las Vegas to watch the Warriors Summer League team, including their top draft pick. He was in his car, stopped at a traffic light, windows down. A group of fans recognized him. One of them leaned in with the most obvious request in the world. "We need to get LeBron, man. We need LeBron." Kerr asked the fan to repeat himself. Then he smiled and without missing a single beat, delivered the line that broke the internet. "Oh, we got him." Put that on Twitter. The call full of fans erupted in laughter. Kerr drove away grinning. The whole interaction lasted maybe 10 seconds. Those 10 seconds became everything. The clip, first shared by Warriors World and amplified by Hoop Central and Legion Hoops, crossed 1 million views within hours. It spread across X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube simultaneously. Sports media segments were being cut before most people had even seen the video. The debate was immediate and fierce. Was this a joke? Was this a leak? Did Steve Kerr just casually confirm the biggest free agency signing since Kevin Durant showed up in the Bay a decade ago? The internet did not wait for clarity. The internet ran with it. And to understand why this clip hit the way it did, you have to understand the precise moment it surfaced. This was not a random week in the NBA calendar. This was the heart of free agency season, at a point where every reliable reporter in the league had already identified Golden State as one of the primary destinations for LeBron James. Shams Charania at ESPN had already reported that the Warriors were in a group by themselves alongside the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Miami Heat, and the Philadelphia 76ers as the teams most seriously pursuing James. That report was already out there, already being discussed, already being debated. When Kerr's video dropped into that environment, it did not land in a vacuum. It landed on a pile of gasoline. There is also a psychological dimension to why jokes like this take hold during high-stakes free agency periods. Fans are starved for information. The traditional pipeline of insider reporting has given them names, destinations, probability assessments, but no actual answer. In that vacuum, the human brain does something predictable. It looks for signals everywhere. It assigns meaning to things that were not necessarily intended to carry meaning. A coach smiling through a car window becomes a coded message. A 3-word phrase on a live podcast becomes a declaration of intent. An athlete drinking wine on a stage becomes a sign that he is relaxed because he already knows where he is going. This is the ecosystem into which Steve Kerr dropped his 7 words. And in that ecosystem, even the most obvious joke becomes breaking news. The timing was surgical. Just hours before Kerr's clip went viral, Stephen Curry had appeared on Good Morning America and delivered one of the most direct public recruiting pitches an active NBA player has ever made on network television. "The Bay, we know how to win. Beautiful weather, great golf," Curry said, pointedly nodding to LeBron's well-documented obsession with the sport. Curry went further. He talked about their shared Olympic experience coaching under Kerr at the 2024 Paris Games, where the 2 men competed side by side and built something real. He talked about what it would mean for LeBron to finish his career the right way. He said he was having fun with it, knowing LeBron had his pick of the entire league. That was the morning. By afternoon, Kerr was trolling a fan at a traffic light, telling him they already had him. The Warriors, in one single day, had managed to dominate the entire news cycle without making a single official move. Draymond Green had already been working the back channels. On an episode of the Draymond Green Show, Green revealed that he and LeBron had spent several days together golfing in Puerto Rico during the offseason. He did not mince words about what happened on those greens. He made his pitch. He said the pitch was crazy. He said he believed it would work. Green and James have maintained a genuine friendship that transcends their years as rivals, forged through Team USA and mutual respect built across more than a decade of finals encounters. When Draymond Green tells you something on a golf course, he means it. And when that same Draymond Green responded to Kerr's viral clip on social media, less than 24 hours later, his message did the exact opposite of killing the buzz. "If I know Steve as well as I think I do," Green wrote. He was joking. One sentence. And somehow it made everything feel less certain, not more. Because that is the thing about Steve Kerr. He is one of the most naturally charismatic and self-aware coaches in the history of the sport. A man who won 5 championships as a player, who navigated the Warriors dynasty with humor and grace, and who has spent years mastering the art of saying exactly what people want to hear without technically confirming anything. When he said we got him, nobody who has watched him closely for any length of time believed it was a press release. But nobody could definitively say it was not something more. And that ambiguity, even manufactured ambiguity, even a coach clearly trolling a fan at a red light, that ambiguity in the context of LeBron James' free agency is headline news. LeBron himself said nothing, at least not directly. He did not post, he did not respond, he did not pick up the phone and call a reporter. What he did was something far more calculated and far more interesting. He appeared in public repeatedly and gave the world everything except an answer. The day after Kerr's video went viral, LeBron James was at Fanatics Fest in New York City, the annual fan convention that has become must-watch television for the sports world. He sat on stage for a live taping of his Mind the Game podcast alongside Indiana Pacers star Tyrese Halliburton, in front of thousands of fans who were absolutely convinced this was the moment. Halliburton even tried to pry it out of him early, asking the question everyone had been asking for weeks. James shut it down immediately and with a laugh, telling Halliburton he had made it crystal clear backstage that the answer was not coming. My fault, Halliburton said. I didn't know. What LeBron did give the crowd was something arguably more interesting than an announcement. When fans in the audience started shouting the names of teams, James leaned into the chaos. I heard Warriors, he said. I heard Philly. I heard Miami. Someone just told me to come to the Yankees. Then he let the room breathe. We'll see what happens.
What I hear? I heard Warriors. I heard Philly. This guy just told me to come to the Yankees. I'm like, he said New York Yankees. I can, we'll see what happens.
At one point, he referenced seeing things on social media, a point of acknowledgement that he was watching the conversation, tracking the speculation, aware of every clip being shared and every theory being floated. He just was not going to let any of it move him before he was ready. That is the discipline of a man who has operated at this level for over 2 decades. He does not react to noise. He controls it. Later in the day, during the separate appearance at the CNBC and Boardroom Game Plan Summit, James offered a hint that felt genuine. I won't hold you guys up too much longer. he said. People around the league took that seriously. ESPN's Dave McMenamin reported that multiple sources familiar with LeBron's thinking indicated he was genuinely getting much closer to a decision, with hope in the league that an announcement could come as early as the following week. There was also a moment at Fanatics Fest that the internet immediately dissected frame by frame. When asked about what he was looking for in his next franchise, LeBron said he wanted a team that practiced championship habits every day, but trusted the process more than anything. He barely got the words out before the crowd erupted. Trust the process is not a neutral phrase in the NBA, it is Philadelphia's phrase. The 76ers built an entire identity around it during their rebuild years, and it remains stamped on the franchise's DNA. James heard the reaction, played it perfectly, and reminded everyone that he had been saying trust the process since he was drafted in 2003, before Joel Embiid was even born. The crowd loved it, the internet ran with it, and LeBron walked away from Fanatics Fest having said everything and nothing at the same time. That is the signature move of this free agency. LeBron James has been in full control of the narrative at every step. He has not been hiding, he has been everywhere. He has made media rounds, appeared on stage, done podcasts, attended events, and at every single turn managed to generate maximum buzz without surrendering a single concrete detail. It is a masterclass in attention management from a man who has been doing it for over 20 years. So why has it taken this long? Chris Haynes, reporter from the Summer League in Las Vegas, spoke directly with LeBron's agent Rich Paul, who confirmed that the camp had stopped listening to pitches. LeBron had all the information he needed. The teams had made their cases. Players had made personal appeals. Now it was up to him alone. But that deliberation, Paul made clear what happened on LeBron's timeline. Not the league's, not the media's, his. There is a broader truth embedded in that dynamic that people sometimes lose sight of when they are frustrated by the wait. LeBron James is not delaying this decision because he is confused. He is taking the time he needs because the stakes are genuinely enormous. This is not a 2-year deal with an easy out. For most insiders, the expectation is that wherever LeBron signs, it will be his final stop. The franchise he chooses will be the one attached to his name forever in that final chapter. Cleveland means coming home. Miami means legacy and continuity. Philadelphia means one last championship run in a market hungry for one. Golden State means the most unexpected pairing in the history of the sport. These are not decisions you make overnight. These are decisions that require sitting with everything you know about yourself, your body, your priorities, and your place in history until the right answer stops feeling like a choice and starts feeling like a conclusion. And that timeline, insiders believe, is being stretched by the genuine complexity of this decision. This is not just a basketball choice. LeBron said it himself at Fanatics Fest. It is not just about the team. It is about his family. It is about his happiness. It is about where he wants to spend the last chapter of what is almost certainly the greatest career the sport has ever seen. Bronny James, his oldest son and former Lakers teammate, is part of the calculus. Where Bronny lands could influence where LeBron considers going. Geography matters, legacy matters, and championship probability matters most of all. On that last point, the reporting has sharpened significantly. Multiple insiders have indicated that LeBron appears to be leaning toward the Eastern Conference, not the Western. The reason is straightforward. The West is loaded. The Oklahoma City Thunder, fresh off their dominant season, and the San Antonio Spurs, powered by Victor Wembanyama, represent an almost insurmountable gauntlet that any team would have to navigate just to reach the finals. The Eastern path, by contrast, offers LeBron a cleaner runway toward a 5th championship. That logic, if accurate, directly impacts the Warriors' chances, regardless of how impressive their recruiting operation has been. Shams Charania has said it plainly on NBA Today. Those 3 teams are still in it, he said, referring to Cleveland, Miami, and Golden State. But his next words shifted the landscape. His read on the situation was that the focus had narrowed, and Golden State was not at the center of it. Cleveland, Miami, and Philadelphia. That was the nucleus. The Warriors and the Minnesota Timberwolves remained possibilities, but the reporting increasingly pointed east. The Cleveland Cavaliers carried the most emotional weight in this race. They are the team that drafted LeBron out of high school in Akron. They are the franchise he came back to in 2014 and delivered the most improbable championship in NBA history in 2016. A comeback from 3 games down against those same Golden State Warriors. The Cavs finished their most recent season with a trip to the Eastern Conference Finals. They have kept roster flexibility. They have quietly maintained an open spot that could accommodate a LeBron return, and they represent something no other team can offer: home. The narrative of LeBron James ending his career in the city that raised him is the kind of story that writes itself. The Miami Heat offer a different but equally powerful pull. This is the franchise where LeBron first won, the place where he took his talent, built his game into something championship caliber alongside Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, and became the version of himself that changed the league. In the summer of 2026, Miami is a different team. They added Giannis Antetokounmpo in a blockbuster trade to pair with Bam Adebayo. The roster implications of adding LeBron James to that combination would be seismic. Miami also carries personal meaning for James. Pat Riley built him as a champion. The franchise knows how to win at the highest level, and there is something to be said for a second act. Philadelphia's pitch is built around talent and timing. The 76ers had already assembled a formidable core, and adding Jaylen Brown during this offseason elevated their ceiling considerably. The trust the process moment at Fanatics Fest, whether intentional or not, dropped a grenade into the conversation. Philadelphia also offers LeBron an Eastern Conference contender with legitimate finals potential. Joel Embiid, when healthy, remains one of the most dominant forces in the sport. Adding LeBron to that equation would make the 76ers an immediate championship favorite. And then there is Golden State. The Warriors' recruitment has been the loudest and most public of the summer by a wide margin. Curry on Good Morning America, Green in Puerto Rico, Kerr at a traffic light in Las Vegas. Every pillar of the franchise's identity has leaned into this chase with maximum transparency and genuine enthusiasm. The Warriors also have Steph Curry, the greatest shooter in the history of basketball, in a culture built on winning that is backed by 4 championship banners from the last decade. The basketball case for LeBron and Curry sharing a backcourt is almost too compelling to ignore. 2 legends, 2 of the defining players of their generation, who spent years trying to eliminate each other in June, and now stand on the same Team USA sideline, sharing a bond that only elite competition at the highest level creates. Think about what their roster construction would actually look like. LeBron James as the primary playmaker and driving force. Steph Curry pulling defenders off the floor with gravity unlike anything in the sport. Draymond Green running the defense and the connective tissue of the entire operation. The movement, the spacing, the shot creation. On paper, it reads like something you design in a video game. Kerr's system, the motion offense that redefined how the NBA thinks about spacing and ball movement, was built for exactly this kind of player. LeBron has never played in a true motion system with a shooter of Curry's caliber. That partnership has never existed, which is precisely why, despite all the obstacles, it refuses to fully die in the conversation. But the math may not cooperate. The West remains brutal. The salary cap situation in Golden State requires navigation. Jimmy Butler is returning from an ACL tear, meaning the Warriors are also working without their second star for portions of next season. And Shams Charania's reporting suggests that momentum has shifted toward the East. The Warriors can make all the noise they want, and they have. But in the end, LeBron James will make this decision based on where he believes he can win. One more ring. He has never made a free agency move that was not ultimately about that. Dave McMenamin's reporting is the most current window into LeBron's actual mindset. Multiple sources close to his thinking told McMenamin that LeBron is in a genuinely different place now than he was even a week ago. He is closer. The pitches have been heard. The information has been processed. Rich Paul has confirmed the deliberation phase is underway. The basketball world is holding its breath, waiting for the text that changes everything. What Steve Kerr's 7 words captured in their brief and absurd and perfectly timed way is exactly that breath holding. The entirety of the NBA fan experience this summer compressed into a car window and a punchline. We got him. Put that on Twitter. It was a joke. Draymond Green confirmed it was a joke. Every credible reporter confirmed that no deal had been made when the clip was filmed. But it went viral because it tapped into something real. The desperate, delicious uncertainty of not knowing where the greatest basketball player on the planet is going to play next season. That uncertainty is the story. LeBron James is at Fanatics Fest sipping wine and dropping Trust the Process into a live podcast. Tyrese Halliburton is making 76ers jokes in front of a live audience. Stephen Curry is on morning television talking about Bay Area weather and golf courses. Draymond Green is posting Twitter dispatches about his best friend's free agency, and Steve Kerr is at a traffic light telling a random fan they already have him, laughing before he even finishes the sentence. The basketball world has never seen anything quite like this offseason, not because the stakes are so impossibly high, although they are, Not because every team in the running has a legitimate championship argument, although they do, but because LeBron James, at 41 years old, with everything he has already accomplished, with records that will never be touched and rings that will always be celebrated, is still the center of gravity for an entire sport. Every word connected to his name becomes headline news. Every comment within 100 feet of his free agency becomes a news cycle. A coach at a red light in Las Vegas tells a fan 7 words, and for the next 24 hours, the basketball world loses its mind. Because of him, because of what he is, because of what he represents. Because even now, even here, even at this stage, there is no bigger story in sports than where LeBron James decides to play basketball. The clip that started this whole conversation, a coach, a car, a traffic light, 7 words, is already one of the most shared moments of the NBA offseason. It will be remembered not because it revealed anything real, but because it crystallized the energy of an entire summer. The waiting, the hoping, the theorizing, the belief that every small interaction might be the one that tells you where the king is going. Steve Kerr understood exactly what he was doing, and he delivered. The questions that remain are the same ones that have been circling